Nutrition science, tools for achieving a healthy diet. Good nutrition means eating the right foods in the right amounts to achieve enough, but not too much, of the essential nutrients so that the body can maintain free from disease, grow properly, work effectively, and feel its best. The phrase, "you are what you eat," refers to the fact that many foods that you eat have cumulative effects on the body, and many of the nutrients obtained from food do not become a part of us. For example, the protein and calcium found in milk can be used in the formation of bone. The foods we eat also impact how we feel, both today and in the future. Below, we will discuss the key components of a healthy diet that will help prevent chronic disease, like heart disease and diabetes, maintain a healthy weight, and promote overall health. Achieving a healthy diet. Achieving a healthy diet is a matter of balancing the quality and quantity of food that you eat to provide an appropriate combination of energy and nutrients. There are 4 key characteristics that make up a healthy diet: adequacy, balance, moderation, and variety. Adequacy. A diet is adequate when it provides sufficient amounts of calories and each essential nutrient, as well as fiber. Most Americans report not getting enough fruit, vegetables, whole grains, or dairy, which may mean falling short in the essential vitamins and minerals found in these food groups, like vitamin C, potassium, and calcium, as well as fiber. Balance. A balanced diet means eating a combination of foods from the different food groups, and because these food groups provide different nutrients, a balanced diet is likely to be adequate in nutrients. For example, vegetables are an important source of potassium, dietary fiber, folate, vitamin A, and vitamin C, whereas grains provide B vitamins such as thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and folate, and minerals, iron, magnesium, and selenium. No one food is more important than the other. It is the combination of all the different food groups, fruit, vegetables, grains, dairy, protein, and fats or oils that will ensure an adequate diet. Moderation. Moderation means not eating to the extremes, neither too much nor too little of any one food or nutrient. Moderation means that small portions of high-calorie, lower nutrient foods like chips and candy can fit within a healthy diet. Including these types of foods can make healthy eating more enjoyable and also more sustainable. When eating becomes too extreme, where many foods are forbidden, this eating pattern is often short-lived until forbidden foods are overeaten. Too many food rules can lead to a cycle of restriction, deprivation, overeating, and guilt. For sustainable long-term health benefits, it is important to give yourself permission to eat all foods. Variety. Variety refers to consuming different foods within each of the food groups on a regular basis. Eating a varied diet helps to ensure that you consume adequate amounts of all essential nutrients required for health. One of the major drawbacks of a monotonous diet is the risk of consuming too much of some nutrients and not enough of others. Trying new foods can also be a source of pleasure. You never know what foods you might like until you try them. Dietary guidelines for Americans. The dietary guidelines are published and revised every 5 years jointly by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, and the Health and Human Services, or HHS, as a guide to healthy eating for Americans. Purpose. The purpose of the dietary guidelines is to give Americans evidence-based information on what to eat and drink to promote health and prevent chronic disease. Public health agencies, healthcare providers, and educational institutions all rely on dietary guideline recommendations and strategies. These agencies use the dietary guidelines to form the basis of federal nutrition policy and programs such as WIC and SNAP, help guide local, state, and national health promotion and disease prevention initiatives, inform various organizations and industries, for example, products developed and marketed by the food and beverage industry. Process. Before HHS and the USDA release the new dietary guidelines, they assemble an advisory committee. This committee is composed of nationally recognized nutrition and medical researchers, academics, and practitioners. The advisory committee develops an advisory report that synthesizes current scientific and medical evidence in nutrition, which will then advise the federal government in the development of the new edition of the dietary guidelines. The public also has opportunities to get involved in the development of these guidelines. The advisory committee holds a series of public meetings for hearing oral comments from the public, and the public also has opportunities to provide written comments to the advisory committee throughout the course of its work. After the advisory report is complete, the public has opportunities to respond with written comments and provide oral testimony at a public meeting. The major topic areas of the dietary guidelines are: follow a healthy dietary pattern at every life stage, customize and enjoy nutrient-dense food and beverage choices to reflect personal preferences, cultural traditions, and budgetary considerations, focus on meeting food group needs with nutrient-dense foods and beverages and stay within calorie limits, limit foods and beverages higher in added sugars, saturated fat, and sodium, and limit alcoholic beverages. Several nutrients are of special public health concern, including dietary fiber, calcium, potassium, and vitamin D. Inadequate intake of these nutrients is common among Americans and is associated with greater risk of chronic disease. People can increase their intake of these nutrients by shifting towards eating more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, dairy products, and beans. The dietary guidelines thus encourage the following nutrient-dense food choices: vegetables, including a variety of dark green, red, and orange, legumes such as beans and peas, starchy and other vegetables, fruits, especially whole fruits, grains, at least half of which are whole grains, dairy, including fat-free or low-fat milk, yogurt and cheese, or other fortified soy beverages and yogurt. Protein foods, including seafood, 8 or more ounces per week, lean meats and poultry, eggs, legumes, including beans, peas, and lentils, soy products, and nuts and seeds. Oils, including those from plants such as canola, corn, olive, peanut, safflower, soybean, and sunflower oils, and those present in whole foods such as nuts, seeds, seafoods, olives, and avocados. The DGA explains that most of the individual's daily caloric intake, about 85%, must be made up of nutrient-dense foods in order to meet nutrient requirements, leaving about 15% of calories available for other uses. Yet many Americans consume too much of foods without added sugars and saturated fat, in addition to excessive amounts of sodium and alcohol. Consuming too much of these dietary components is associated with development of chronic disease over time and can add calories without providing much in the way of beneficial nutrients. Therefore, the DGA recommends limiting the following: Added sugars. Consume less than 10% of calories per day from added sugars starting at age 2. Avoid foods and beverages with added sugars for those younger than age 2. Saturated fat. Consume less than 10% of calories per day from saturated fat starting at age 2. Sodium. Consume less than 2,300 milligrams per day of sodium, and even less for children younger than age 14. Alcoholic beverages. If alcohol is consumed, it should be consumed only in moderation, up to 1 drink per day for women and up to 2 drinks per day for men. Drinking less is better for health than drinking more. The United States is not the only country that develops nutritional guidelines. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has a website where you can search for dietary guidelines for different countries, such as Sweden's guidelines.